Passing through the veil of mystery, seeking answers no one is brave to ask. This is Bound to Truth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bound to Truth. This is Christopher Lopez. Hope everybody's having a great night. We got a 3-day weekend coming up. Why is it a 3-day weekend? Well, Monday's Indigenous Day, right? Well, it was once Columbus, but now Indigenous, as it should. You know, it is what it is. It's awesome. But today, what I want to do is drift a little bit. You know, this podcast is about UFOs and all this stuff in the current news, what's going on, talk really depth things. But I want to do something, as I talked about before, when it comes to this podcast. And it's about making a platform for everybody, for people like you. And give everybody the platform to talk about the stories and things that happen to them. Which is important because, again, the platform is yours to share these stories. There's a lot of people out there who have stories who don't feel comfortable sharing it, either maybe rejection, either maybe fear of judgment. But this is what we do, is I keep it a very comfortable, fun, loving atmosphere. And also just kind of a think tank in regards to not only the experience of the paranormal and other things above and beyond supernatural when it comes to UAPs, or UFOs, you know, cryptids, and also paranormal hauntings. But I have a special guest with us tonight. Someone I've known for a little over a year through some friends, and she's amazing. She's wonderful. She's beautiful. She's this incredible person. Somebody you don't want to mess with. And before I get to putting her on the platform, how can you reach us? Well, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, like the Audible. What else? There's other platforms. Instagram, which I'm getting better at. TikTok, Facebook. And also, if you have stories yourself to share out there, please email me at boundtotruth34@gmail.com. If you want to share your thoughts, concerns, comments, or hey, you want to find me a date? Awesome. That'd be great. Obviously, I've been very cooped up in this house, so it'd be nice to hang out with somebody. But anyway, so I'm going to put on here is Joy. And she is, like her name, a joy. She's amazing. She's got a beautiful heart. She's just a wonderful person. So I want to introduce you to her. Joy, what's up, dude? How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Listen, I love the hair, by the way. It's really, really cool. I know when last time I talked with you, you're a bit of I would call a very what do you call it? A very risky haircut, but it's something that I think, to me personally, is a new fad. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's a little undercut, but I'm letting it grow out. So,
hey, it's cool, man. Honestly, I do love it, and I come from a hairstyling family, like my mom. You know, you see my hair here. You know, I try to fit into the native world, but I don't look it because I look too much Spaniard. Which is kind of like, this is a bad guy. You know,
No.
Those poor Aztec people, they're like, oh, no, no bueno. But anyways, so brought you on. I know you through John Hershey, you know, and the Hershey family, and just had such great conversations. The first time I won't forget I met you, my hair was actually shorter when I just first cut it.
Yeah.
And I told John, just for funny kicks, like, dude, she's a cute girl, man. She's pretty cool, man. Like, oh, it's pretty cool. We're heading to Black Diamond, and your hair was longer at the time. I think you were working at the stand for a bit when I first met you. But overall, over the years, I found you just a loving, respectful, cool person. You love your son very much.
Thank you.
You've had your own journey and stories, and you've shared with me some pretty cool stories too when it comes to tradition, native lore that I find just incredibly fascinating. But I really appreciate you because I've been trying to get you on here for a long time.
Yeah.
The whole Halloween story thing. You're like, I got some stories. Yes, I'll do it. I'm like, okay, I got to take advantage of this. I got to do this now. So basically, I want to give you the platform, like I said in the podcast, to talk about the thing. So what do you want to share to our audience? It's Halloween. anything that particular that can be a bit spooky, fun. Like I said, it's something for you to share. So I want to give you the opportunity to share those things. So please go for it, and forgive me if I ask questions. It's
Okay.
because I'm a very extroverted person, and
Hmm.
just get too excited about the stuff. So because I'm
Yeah.
actually really excited. So, anyways, I'll shut up because I'm totally speedballing right now. But please go ahead and share your stuff. What do you got for us today?
Okay, well, I would like to start off by saying thank you for acknowledging Indigenous Peoples Day. And start off by introducing myself in Sklallam, if that's okay.
Yep, that's totally fine. This is all about you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ushlos and Sna, Nis Queetan Ton Cleefwick, Nis Queetan Sut, Ryan Calhoun, Nis Queetan Sitseas, Susan Floyd Jones, and Joyce and Philip Calhoun, Uket Nux Gleitemson, Monku Ait Achin Sachi. My name is Joy Jones Calhoun. My given Indian name is Yushlo. My mom's name was Fleetwick, which means laughs and smiles a lot, which definitely suits her. My dad's name was Brian Calhoun, and my grandparents are Sue and Floyd Jones and Joyce and Philip Calhoun, and I am from the Port Gamble Sklallam tribe. In my family, we have a lot of different roles. A lot of my grandpa, who I named my son after, he was a master carver. He was a preacher. He ran the church for a long time, and he was the one of 13 sons. And all of his brothers were also carvers and artists, and they were all musicians. But I like to think that I got the storytelling aspect from my uncle Gene Jones and my mom. And I'm doing my best now as a mom myself to raise my son to learn some roles and find his place and like embrace who he truly is. And I tend to just go on and on and on too when it comes to stories. And like when I first started getting to know you, I was like, oh my gosh, somebody who's actually like interested in me just blabbing my mouth off. Okay, cool. And so I'm really happy that Jonathan and Sophia were able to host events and like get us together. And I'm really happy to be here. So thank you. And I know that sorry, my son's in the background right now.
No,
He's running
that's
around
that.
playing.
Hey, you're a mom, dude. You don't have to apologize. You got mom duties. That's first, so it's totally cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not at all excited to become a big brother. He rolls his eyes and walks out of the room anytime we talk about the baby. And yeah, expecting my second is a big, big step. But I'm happy. We're both healthy, happy, safe, and thriving. And that's all that matters. But today I wanted to share with you some of the stories I've actually already have told you. One being, both of them being my own personal encounters.
Okay.
And I want to start off by talking about my what my dad called my imaginary friend.
Okay.
So my dad, he was a surfer dude from California, and he came up here to Washington, met my mom. They ended up having us 4 kids. Well, when I was born, we had a tribal house, and it's called the Upper Housing neighborhood in the Port Gamble Reservation. And we, in the woods behind our house, it's traditionally known for being a portal, like a pathway to the other side for spirits to cross over and to come back, like whenever, like the portal's open or whenever they please. And my mom, like growing up, she always told us these things. Like she always told us, like, you kids are sensitive. Like you guys see things that other people don't see. And Joy, like your gift, you've always had a gift and ability to see spirits from the other side, especially when we lived at our old house. And my mom, she was a storyteller. Like she herself, like she couldn't give us kids a break. Like she convinced my brother Hunter his dad was Dwayne the Rock Johnson. So I was like, girl, don't even, like, you just messing with us some more. Stop it. And but growing up, my dad would always talk about like, oh, like Joy, when you were a kid, like when it's time to sit down and have lunch, you were always like, oh no, I want my friend to eat too. Make my friend a sandwich. No, she needs some ice cream too. Like, okay, well, I'm done. We're going to go outside and play. And they're like, Joy, who? I'm like, she's right here, and, I forget her name, but, I was very, very, like, I pushed and pushed to tell my dad, like, no, she's not an imaginary friend. She's not, like, she's here. Like, she's playing with me. Like, she's real. And my mom's like, no, I believe you. I believe you. And my dad's like, Joy, you're tripping me out. Stop. And, like, it took a long time to really convince my dad, like, like, no, this isn't, like, he just, I think just like gave up because he was like, whatever, I'm not going to argue with like a 4-year-old. And, like, then we were put in foster care. We're all taken away and separated. So we had to move out of that house, and I never seen her ever again. But when before we were taken away, my dad would be like, oh, like, hey, time for lunch. Like, here, I made a plate for your friend. And I was like, oh, no, she's not here. She turned into a butterfly. She left. She flew away. Like, it's okay. Well, I'll probably see her tomorrow or something. And he's like, oh, of course. Okay. And so years.
Oh, we lost her. It's speaking. The ghosts that are trying to sabotage this interview. Are you there?
Sorry.
Joy, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
No, that's okay. I made a joke that it was the spirits that were trying to sabotage this interview.
Close. It was my little sister.
That's spooky enough. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, very spooky. She's scary. But no, my mom always told me, like, throughout the years, like, oh yeah, Joy, you'd play with this little ghost girl. You'd play with her all the time, and you're best of friends, and da 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 da. And growing up, I was like, yeah, whatever, Mom. Okay, cool, Mom, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then years and years and years went by. So, like, again, I was like 3-4 years old playing with this little girl at my house, like out in the yard, and seeing to it that she was happy, seeing to it that we were making memories, but fast forward and all that time, like, I was about 14. So over a decade had passed. And I no longer lived in that neighborhood, but my cousin Luella did, with her husband, her 2 kids, and her 3 stepkids. And the younger 2, Luella's daughter Lily and her stepson Sebastian, they were also about 3 and 4 years old. And Luella called me up. She's like, you need to come and bless my house. You need to come up and bless my house right now. The kids said they saw something. I was like, okay, so I get cedar boughs ready. I get a couple white candles, and I do what I was taught traditionally. It's like, you walk through, you bless up the house, you burn cedar, you leave the white candle, because it's a sign of, it's a light, and like, you want them to go towards the light. You want it to be to where they're guided somewhere where they need to go. Right. And so I get up to the house, I have all the stuff ready, and I was like, hey, like, before, I get to blessing the house, like, is it okay if I go and talk to the kids? They're like, yeah. Like, Luella has her Bible out, she has her bell, she already has a couple white candles. Like, she was doing it through the teachings of the 1910 Shaker practice, which is the oldest form of Christianity, from what my family has taught me. And so I go inside and I go find Lily and Sebastian, and they're up in their room, like, they're trembling, they're holding on to each other, and they're like, Joy, Auntie, we're so scared. I'm like, whoa, calm down. Like, tell me what happened. What did you see? Like, and Lily was like, this little girl, she was wearing a pretty dress, and she came around the corner and she said hi. And Sebastian's like, and then she has to play with my toys. Auntie, she has to play with my toys. And we started screaming and crying, and we told her to go away. Like, no, get out of here. And she started crying. Auntie, she started crying, and she looked really, really sad. And, I was like, okay, well, did she keep walking towards you? Did she keep making herself known? Did she get taller? Did she come off more mean? Hold on. Dad went with cousins. Okay, Daddy will be back later. You want your show?
So they were telling her to go away and all that stuff.
Yeah, they were telling her to go away, and I'd asked them. I was like, okay, and did she get mad? They're like, no, she started crying. She looked really lonely, and she got really sad, and she asked, she said, okay, and she turned into a butterfly, and she flew away. And I was like, and I instantly, like, still to this day, like, I'm even like sweating a little bit telling this story and getting like goosebumps, because it's like, it still just blows me away that like, I like over a decade later, 2 other kids, my mom was nowhere near, like, my mom never told ghost stories to like little kids. And so like I was sitting there just like shaking, and I went down to Luella, because Luella used to babysit me when I was that age. And so I was like, did you ever talk to the kids about my friend that would turn into a butterfly? And she's like, no, I'm not going to tell a 3 and 4-year-old like ghost stories, Joy. Like, why would I do that? I was like, because they're talking about like getting scared, screaming and crying at her, telling her to go away. And she got sad and turned into a butterfly and left. And Luella, like, she turned pale. And Joe, her husband, was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm like, this is a spirit that I used to play with when I was a kid, when I was your kids' age. And he was like, well, what does that mean? So it's like an ancient, like, evil spirit? I'm like, no, like, because what we believe is like, in many different cultures, is that when you're dealing with an evil spirit, like, they leave scratch marks, they, you know, like, they have like different colored eyes, like yellow eyes or black eyes, and you know, like, they intend harm, they intend to scare you, they linger to scare you because they feed off of that. But this little girl, like, she got really sad. She got really offended that she couldn't just come and play. And she respected their wishes, turned into a butterfly, and she left. And so I was like, I don't know how else to describe it, but she's not evil. But this is a portal behind your home, because it was, my house was right here growing up, and the house that a decade later Luella was living in was right there. So it's the same portion of woods. And he was like, well, how do we like keep the portal from not entering our house? Or I was like, you can't, like, you can't control that. And like, you can't, that's not something you should mess with. So I blessed the house, and I spoke out to her. I was like, I should have encouraged you to, you know, go back, like, cross back to over to the other side and just stay there. And it was wrong for me to hold you here. And I'm so sorry. That I loved us being friends, and I love that you wanted to be here to play, but right now you're scaring my nieces and nephews, and I can't be okay with that. It's time for you to cross back through the portal, and you can't come back. Kids these days, like, they don't know, and they're more scared than anything, because that house had history of bad spirits being there. And Luella and her older son Micaiah would talk about it all the time, about hearing like evil laughter, stuff flying around the house, like. And so Lily, like, growing up hearing all that, she thought instantly, seeing that little girl, like, she's like, oh, this is an evil spirit. Oh my gosh, this is an evil spirit. And it's like, I had to like tell Lily and Sebastian, I was like, no, I played with her a lot when I was a little kid, when I was your age. She means well. That's why she left when you told her to. And every day for the next few weeks, like, I would reach out to Luella and be like, anything going on? Like, and she's like, nope, nothing. And so when we blessed the house, like, I burned some cedar boughs, but I hung some over every door entrance and window all throughout the house. And but yeah, I thought that was really crazy. And I called my mom up after I left, and I'm like, oh my God, Mom, you were not lying. And she's like, why would I? And so I was like, it's just crazy. Like, Sebastian and Lily both saw her. It's just like, Joy, kids are very sensitive to seeing those things. Sometimes that gift stays with you, and sometimes it doesn't. And so I was just like, wow, okay, well, you're not crazy. Like, you know, and There's been like a few other kids lived in those homes for a while, and I'm like, hey, anything suspicious? Like, and they haven't at least brought up that little girl yet. So,
Right.
um,
Well, let me ask you this: has there been anything besides the girl, like those other kids talked about, had anything did happen? Because you said there's a lot of other things that happen in that area. Like, have they said anything? Or
I haven't asked recently because one group of people who live in Luella's old house, like, they're just drama. They don't talk to me. I don't talk to them.
fair enough.
But I am nervous because that house did have a history of, things flying around the kitchen, things, like one time I was sitting in that house waiting for Luella and Micaiah and baby Lily to come back from walking to the store. And I thought I heard like a mom and a daughter upstairs, which I thought was Luella's sister and niece, like Mary and her daughter. And Luella walks in, oh, just you here? And I was like, no, I heard, like, I think Mary just got baby Talisha to sleep because I heard her jumping around. I heard movement, and now it's all quiet. And I heard them laughing. I heard her going, shh. So I was like, okay, maybe she just put her daughter down for a nap all aggressively. I don't know. And Luella's like, Mary's car is not here. I'm like, maybe she lent it to somebody. She's like, Joy, I'm her sister. She doesn't even lend that car to me. Like, you're here alone. And Micaiah starts crying. Like, he got pale white as well. He started crying. He like went outside and like even like threw up because he was like, no, the ghosts are here. The ghosts are here. And I was like, okay, well, we can't be scared. Like, we can't give them something to like feed off of us. Like, don't worry. But the other people who live in my old house, I'm pretty close with them. And yeah, they haven't said anything about having any encounters or anything. And Jen, the wife who lives there, she believes in the supernatural. She loves ghost stories. She loves watching shows about it all the time. And yeah, her and her kids, like, they've lived there for, I want to say about 3 years before the pandemic.
Okay. So here's my question to you: Is this area? I mean, you don't have to give it where it's at. You know, we talk about Suquamish and so forth and all that. Was it pretty close to home and where you're at now and everything, like with all that's going on?
So I mean, it's a pretty well-known area. Like, when you turn down at Gliding Eagle and you start going down the hill, you'll see like the first neighborhood. Like, you see like the back, then you see like on the other side of the road, there's like an access road that you could reach. Like, so on the left when you're going down the hill, like you'll see like a dirt road. Like the woods over there, and then the woods behind all of the houses, like as you continue going down the road, like that's the pathway. So that's where the portal is. And there's actually quite a few. I don't know all the other ones, but there's actually quite a few, like a handful of them, I think, down in Little Boston.
Okay, so you're talking about the first Little Boston by the Gliding Eagle, right? We're not talking about the second one. We're talking about the first one, right? You don't talk about by the Gliding Eagle. So you take that path. I know exactly what path you talked about because I would do that sometimes too. Like, if I'm gassing up on my motorcycle, I would take down that path and that road. So you're saying there's some type of portal there potentially?
Yes. So okay. But yeah, it wraps around the back end of the neighborhood and the upper housing, and it carries over kind of like the main road as you're heading down the hill, like past Gliding Eagle and past like the first neighborhood of houses and the new Warrior Ridge, and and then it turns goes across to like the access road, that dirt road that if you follow it the right way, you can get to 288.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
wow. I know exactly what road. Okay. I never know that because I've taken the 288 road many times. So really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom used to live on a farm there, and I would take a certain trail behind our, like, go off our back porch, follow a certain trail, and then cut through some sticker bushes and get to the access road to get me to Little Boston.
Is that access road? That's a road you could drive on, or is that the walk on?
You could drive on it. People drive on it all the time. Like when the gates open, like if you're caught back there when the gate is closed, you can get into a lot of trouble because people like to drop trees illegally for firewood, and
Oh, I
that's
see.
really frowned upon on the res because we're limited on how many trees we can tear down at a time.
Yep. I don't mess with the res. I do not mess with the res. I have too much respect for the res. I'm telling you right now. No, thank you. But yeah.
But yeah, and then on the other side of the upper housing neighborhood, we call it the upper ghetto. There's
Yep.
back roads that can take you all the way down to like the baseball field at the tribal center. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, and you can drive cars down there, and like people drive their quads and dirt bikes back there all the time. The back roads you can definitely take whenever. You just got to be careful because sometimes you can totally crash like a 2016 Yukon into a couple trees.
Sounds
It's pretty easy.
That sounds pretty specific, but anyway.
Yeah, no, it gets pretty slick back there, but
I'm sure. Yeah.
it's fun. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask you this question. So you know where I live. I think you know where I live.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm right by that tribe. Right. Like not far at all. At least a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
I remember one night when John came over. This was like earlier this year, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought his ghost gear. We had a few drinks. We're like, let's bust out the ghost gear, dude. See if I got anything in the house. I will say this: there was things that was going off the scale when it came to the REM pod. When I went to all the audiences, the REM pod is where it's pretty much like a circular object that has an antenna that comes up where you rub your hand around it, and that's when things come around. It was going so off the rail, and especially the chat box on it too was going nuts. And I was telling John, I was like, I don't think my house is haunted. I think it's just the area where I'm in, because even though we're in Hansville, it's still, to me personally, native land, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, am I off base there because of all the things that are going on in that area, or no?
No. So, for example, my grandpa, they had a before there was an actual border to the reservation established. My grandpa Floyd grew up in a little house that was actually not that far past where our neighborhood is, like the last neighborhood before you get to Cliffside and Bridgeview. And it actually extended it extended all the way down to Point No Point. There was a battle of Point No Point.
Wow.
Which I don't know if you've ever heard that story, but that's also pretty well known.
I have not. What's it'd be fair for you to share it if you want, but yeah, what's the story behind that?
I think I could be wrong. I haven't, I've just heard that it was like like multiple man canoes being pulled out to where like it was like a long battle to, I think, establish territory, or it was something involving like denying certain like settlers coming by. It was like the war or the Battle of Point No Point.
Was the battle between settlers and natives?
I believe so, or it could have been the battle between Native Americans and another tribe. I have to look into it and everything, but
the point there was a battle. The point there was a battle of some sort. That was okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, our community wrapped all the way around to, throughout Hansville, and my Uncle Gene would tell me stories growing up about saying like after we were established here in Port Gamble, you could look all the way up to the north, all the way over to the east a little bit, and all the way down south, and you knew for sure there was tribes of squaw bands going all the way down like the coast, like up into Canada and almost like about to Oregon.
Okay.
And so it was we were pretty big, but now we're just down to Lower Elwha, Jamestown, and Port Gamble.
Gotcha.
As what's federally recognized, at least.
So it's funny you bring up Port Gamble, because Port Gamble, as you know, is a very popular, I would say nationwide at least, maybe internationally, very, very popular area for being haunted, like the Ames House, right?
Yes.
And but that was native land before, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that has something to do with that?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
So when colonization came here, and we were originally Port Gamble Slalloms. We were established over in Port Gamble
Okay.
because we were. So my brother Dalen put it in a really great way. I never had heard the story until I was about 21, 22 years old.
Mhm.
We called it the light side.
Mhm.
And then over here where we were put, where the reservation is established now, we called it the dark side, because when the sun was rising, like we were hit with the light instantly, and over there was still all dark. And so we were like, okay, once the sun's fully risen, um, once the sun's fully up and slide over, then we can go over there. But we established on the light side in Port Gamble. And then settlers wanted to build the mill. They wanted to
Right.
claim that as their own land. Personally, like, I think what it is there's only one indigenous man in that whole graveyard that is over in Port Gamble.
Really? Why is that?
Because they didn't want I don't know, they just didn't want us buried there. That was their land now. They pushed us into our canoes, pushed us all the way across the bay, and they're like, nope, that's your land now, or you.
Which is the Skalam we're talking about, right? Where we're at, where by Hansville and everything. You're talking about like a little more like I'm talking about where you go in the
Point
Skalam
Julia.
area. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
that
what we're
little
talking.
bay.
Gotcha.
At Point Julia and like Gamblewood Bay. Like, they pushed us over to Point Julia, and back then there wasn't roads or anything. There wasn't houses. There wasn't anything over here. At least a reservation wise, I don't think there was anything in Hansville. Nothing in Hansville was ever established or built up. And we had to build our houses over the marshlands at Point Julia and along the beach. And after a few years, like after finally being federally recognized as a tribe and building ourselves basically from the ground up,
Right.
we were able to clear cut the reservation to certain points and get certain houses built up, and like have a baseball field. My grandpa Floyd was actually our first chairman.
Wow, that's cool. That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And my great auntie Geneva Ives. I think it's just a great auntie, maybe great. But she was probably my age or a little bit younger than me when she remembered the government coming down to the beach in Point Julia and burning all of our houses down. That's also some more Port Gamble Slalom history.
Why was that? Why would they burn this house down?
Because we were too successful. So it was a way of showing control and trying to suppress us more as Indigenous people.
Wow.
And to kind of set us back financially, because back then we didn't have any money. We didn't even have like a real like schoolhouse. We didn't even have like a church with windows. We didn't even have we were just lucky enough to have homes, like a roof over our head. And maybe I think there was throughout the res, back then, maybe one person had a car, and then or maybe a handful of people had cars, but everyone else still went to and from work over at the mill in canoes or little rowboats
across that bay, right?
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they were able to get employed certain places. But my grandpa Floyd became the first chairman, and he said, no, we need to get together. We need to figure out a group of people who can sit down and just say this is what we'll spend our money on this week. And they would write letters to the BIA and say hey, since you guys took our land, can you at least give us this money so we can, build a church?
Right.
And sure enough, a lot of grants got passed, but everyone just basically kind of was okay, well, Floyd, you seem like you know what you're talking about and what you want it to go. He's like, what, me? No. And they're like, well, it was your idea. Lead with it.
Yeah. Hey, you own it, buddy.
Yeah. So, and I really love that because my grandpa was always he was so humble, and I would ask him about the dark history of our people. And he would be just well, even though, yeah, a lot of houses down here didn't have plumbing, my dad, he figured out how to get plumbing to our house. And, he was pretty nifty. He would always find a way to turn the conversation around and be like, well, let's find something to be happy about. Like, hey, did you know this about your great grandpa Foster?
Half glass
Or
full. Half
yeah, most definitely.
glass full type of guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that about him. May he rest in peace. He passed away recently this year. And that was really hard on our family because now my brother is the patriarch and the oldest in our family. And that's like a hard role to really step in. Because Hunter, he is, bless his heart, but he's not really, I mean, he's 31 years old, you know, like he's what we like to joke around about. He's a young elder. Like he's in charge of the whole family now.
That's a lot. It's a lot of pressure, I'm sure. I cannot even imagine that. I can imagine a little bit just from my side and the Portuguese side of the family. I'm half Portuguese, half Hispanic.
Yeah.
I would say more Spaniard, and I apologize for the Spaniards, by the way.
Don't worry about it.
But no, but that's a lot because you're not talking about just carrying legacy of a family. You're talking about carrying the legacy of a whole area and a tribe.
Yeah. And it's the
that's not
history of our people.
Yeah,
and
right.
you know, and it was also too, like I'd ask my grandpa, like when I would tell him the story about like, you know, the little butterfly girl, he was like, oh, I'm not one to hear stories from, you know, like I'm just an artist, I'm a musician, like I just carve, I play my guitar, and I know the word of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but
Amen.
talk to your uncles. And
Right.
so my uncle Gene, he's actually the elder I want to talk to about bringing you over to the island.
Oh yeah. And, by the way, we're going to get into that because that's another story I want to ask you about. But anyways, go ahead.
But I would sit there and just listen to him, and he's like, yeah, no, like there's good magic out there. There's bad magic. There's good spirits. There's bad spirits. And he's like, a lot of cultures you'll know, like it's like a yin and yang, like a yin and yang, and you can't have good without bad, you know? And
Well, yeah, that's just life in general, right?
Yeah. And he said that like my grandpa and my uncles and everybody would always tell me like you need to like find peace, you know, with yourself, with your life, with your decisions before you pass on and before you cross over. So that way you're not stuck here. You don't want to be bound here. It's just your soul will never rest if you don't cross over. And so that's why I always just like felt, you know, like some kind of way about, you know, spirits that haven't crossed over. And it's like that little Indian girl, like that little ghost girl that would turn into a butterfly and leave. And it's like, why, like an innocent little child, like, why is she stuck here? You know, like what had to have happened for her to be stuck here?
So I want to ask a question about that really quick.
Yeah.
Because you talked about vortexes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that. And I think one of the things that I believe in, so I was listening to, this is earlier in my podcast year last year with a guy who wrote about Kitsap and about the legends and mysteries with like cryptids and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really big about the water thing with the Puget Sound.
Yeah.
And so do you think that has something to do with it? Is there something within the indigenous people, the natives, in regards to when it comes to water and the spirituality and the vortex? Is there any talk of that at all, kind of thing?
The water, like what I was told growing up was the water is, you know, unpredictable. It has a mind of its own, and it can be calm and gentle one day, and it can be ruthless and unforgiving the next. And it's not something to take lightly. Like water is very sacred that way, and it has its own way of balancing life or death in our world. And so yeah, to like respect the waters, you know, don't over harvest fish, you know, don't over harvest and, you know, poison the waters, like, and kill off, you know, like, you know, crab and other shellfish and crustaceans. And so it was always like, if you don't overtake, you know, the water won't want to overtake from you. Like so it was like more of like I was taught of like the balance of knowing that if you can over harvest and you can kill all sorts of means for like ways to get food, like from salmon to oysters. And but like I'm deeply terrified of the water. Like if I
So
can't
so am
see,
I. So am I. I don't know why I moved
yes.
here, but so am I. I'm afraid. Honestly, my dad showed me Jaws when I was like 6 or 7. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm even afraid of the orcas. And then when I talked to Ton about
Uh-huh.
like, oh yeah, the Kraken's real. It's under the Tacoma Bridge. I'm like, fudge. Every time I ride a motorcycle thing, I'm like going 90s miles an hour. I'm like, I am not going to fall off this bridge. There's no way in hell. Anyways,
No, like, and I grew up knowing about the Kraken and
yeah.
just being like, oh, that's a tale, that's a tall tale, like,
Mhm.
it's not real. And then we would learn about it in school, and I would get to elementary school. I'm like, wait, are you serious? There's
Yeah.
like a big ass squid
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Puget Sound. And like, but my
Nope.
brother pushed me off into the water before I knew how to swim. So that's why I'm terrified, is because it's like oh my God, I'm gonna drown. Like something, or it's like something's gonna like come up and get me. Like, and because
Wow.
it's like I've had experiences as a little kid, with like spirits. So it was like I had that fear, like there's something in this water, living or not, that's gonna come up and get me and bring me down with it. And it's like I don't know if it's gonna be the current, if it's gonna be a sea lion, or if it's just gonna be some crazy dead bitch. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to fuck around and find
Yeah. Yeah.
out.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I always look at going in the water. Is like my head's above it and my body's just bait.
Yeah,
Saying, come
me
get
too.
me. Come get me. Here I am. Eat me. I don't know what you are, but hey, hello. I'm just like free range of just like sweetness of whatever. And
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, like
yeah.
yeah. So, but I like growing up, like hearing like life, like the water itself is sacred, and like you don't
Yeah.
want to over harvest it. Like your life balances in its midst. Like you don't. That's not something you want to like consider. Like, oh, it's no big deal. Like I know how to swim. Like
Right.
no, if the water feels like taking you, you're gone.
Right.
And
Right.
so
And
I'm just like, I don't go, I barely go pulling in the canoes. Like I don't go out fishing. I don't go out crabbing. I don't do that. I'm like that. I eat seafood. I don't harvest it. Okay.
yeah, it's like I don't care how like was it like what's that word, like where the water recedes back. I don't care.
Oh,
I
low
don't
tide.
low tide. I don't care. There's something in the mud. Hell no. I'm not messing with it. I'm not. I am not somebody's little food thing. No, no, thank you. Um,
Yeah.
but what I want to ask too, because I definitely want to get in the story regarding the island that we talked about. You told me many
Hmm.
times, and not one time, but multiple times. But
Yes.
before I get into that, I want to ask about that little girl, the one that turned into butterfly. You
Yeah.
said she's a native, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we believe that like where you pass away, like, like when you pass away, like your spirit goes back to where you call home. And
Mhm.
traditionally, like for years back, like that has been, even if before it was federally recognized, that was, like that was our land, that was our people's land, or it was an indigenous person's land, and like, because before Little Boston moved, or Port Gamble Squamish were here, it was the Suquamish, and
Right.
so there's its own, but it was some indigenous little girl of her own, like of her own self, and my
Do you
mom
think?
had,
Do you think she was just like caught in the crossfire of tragedy? Like she's just this innocent girl, and something happened that was tragic. That she was just in this crossfire, and she's just trying to find, like you said, friends to hang out with, someone to play with, something to find joy into something. You think?
when I do think of her, I do think of like she wasn't ready. Like she
Yeah.
was ready to live a life. She wanted to grow up. She wanted to have kids. She wanted to be happy. She
Right.
wanted to live a happy life. She wanted to live an honest life, and that's why she, when like Lily and Sebastian got scared, she was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. Like, she
Yeah.
just,
No ill intent. She was just like,
no ill intent at all.
yeah.
And
Right.
I played with her for years.
Yeah.
I played with her like probably from the moment I could crawl to talking and running around, climbing trees, like, um, and my heart breaks for her, because it's like, as a mom now, I can't imagine seeing an innocent child just not be here anymore.
Hmm.
So it's not even too just like, whatever tragedy had happened to her, it also happened to her family, because it's like, did they cross over and like before she did, and like, are they waiting for her on the other side, or did they keep living their lives without her, with that heartache of losing their daughter or losing their sister? And so it's just, my heart goes out to that little girl, because it's like, to just hold on and to just want connection and to just want to have like fun and just to focus on just making friends in the afterlife and just be so happy and to play with other kids your age. Like, how innocent of a child did you have to be? And like, what happened? Like, I want to know, like, what happened to have her cross over, like have her pass away? Because like, was it colonization? Was it a battle between another tribe? Was it an evil, sickened like family member, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Who knows? There's a tragedy that happened, but we don't know
yes,
what particular one. There could be so many different circumstances.
yes, or like,
And
was it
just,
a sickness or like an illness?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just know that like, her for sure being my biggest encounter and personal close encounter, that also um like throughout my life, I'll never forget it throughout my life. Like when Lily and Sebastian told me she turned into a butterfly and she left, I was like, whoa. Like that's when it really sat in there, because like I hesitated for a while. I was like, no, you know what? Ghost stories is one thing. Ghosts aren't real though, you know? And then when they told me that, I was like, oh shit, there's no denying it now. Like there's no.
What was it? Was it? We think when you heard it, and sorry to interrupt, was like
You're,
you heard it, but your brain wasn't accepting it, but you know what you saw, you know what you experienced, and it was it kind of like that, like battle between my brain trying to accept what I'm being
accepting it
told.
wasn't the problem. What it
Okay.
was it's like when I heard the kid say that she turned into a butterfly, like she was sad that she couldn't play and she turned into a butterfly and left. Like she cried and turned into a butterfly and left. Like I felt like the truth like wrap around my spine and my heart and in my bones, and just was like, wake up. Like this
Yeah.
is real. Like the portals, the ghosts, spirits, our teachings, it's real. It's real shit.
Yeah.
And I was just mind blown, because I was like, oh, wow. Like, because it was always like growing up, hearing these things from my mom and just thinking, she's crazy. She's crazy. No, 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 no. She wasn't. And that's why a lot of traditional plants, like, are forms of protection and like heal not just like your spirit, but also your body. And like they protect you from those unknown supernatural elements that we can't really see as adults anymore. So
Yeah.
like when my mom would tell me about all these plants and like all these things, and it was like, whoa, like this isn't even a joke. Like this isn't something to take lightly. This isn't something to brush off. And so it was just like that feeling of realization, like sinking into my bones. And like, I was like, hold on. Because these are two like 3 and 4 year old little kids.
Yeah.
Like the kids that young don't lie.
Right.
And
No,
like
they're
I've
very
never
honest and
seen,
truthful. Yeah.
yeah, and I've never seen, you know, like a scary movie where a little ghost girl is so happy and she just wants to play, or she'll just like turn into a butterfly and leave. Like I've never, like moths maybe, because they're like, you know, movies are like scary, they want to scare you, and moths are like the opposite of butterflies.
Well, you know, honestly, too, Joy, I think like some of these horror movies that come out there, they talk about the paranormal, they make it very evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't focus on there's some great good things from it. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's a whole. My thought process is too is like I think, you know, I talk about death and to people like, well, when you die, this is, you know, how do you know? It's like I don't call it death, I call it transference of essence. Like it goes from one plane as a physical body
Yeah.
to another plane as a spirit. I love your kid, by the way. He's amazing.
He's so bossy.
He is. But that's my thing. Is like it's a transfer of essence. You know, it's like they're still here, but they're not here. You know, they're a different plane, but somehow they're able to cross over. Like you said, there's this portal, right? You're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, my question is to you: is have you, you know, obviously you know John very well.
Yes.
Have you told him about this? Have you said, "Hey, let's investigate this," or is it something that's like I just kind of left it alone?
I feel like he really let us, you and I, talk about more of this squirrel story, and I don't know how far back we'd be able to look into. I don't know if it could be before records.
Mm.
What? Chug, chug, chug. Sorry,
No, that's okay.
I
It's
have
okay.
to. Would you? Oh, choo choo train.
Everybody, everybody who's on the podcast, this is called life.
It
You're being a
is.
mama, take care of a kid. That's okay. That's totally fine. This is what the platform is for, because it's not just about stories. It's about, hey, I have a kid. I got responsibilities. It's totally cool.
Yes.
It's totally
He's
cool.
he's very bossy, and he's a very happy little guy though. I'm trying to just
He's a good kid. He's a good kid. I've seen him. He's a beautiful
Pervert,
kid.
if
He's
you're
awesome.
not going to just watch a show, I will turn the whole TV off. Would you like to just watch your show? So you want the TV off? No. There's nobody with him. I try to sit here and be strict, but then I remember he's not going to be an only child for much longer. So
Yeah, that's what happens. Trust me, I'm the oldest of my family. So
yeah.
But you know what? You know what I tell my family? But I have the curlier hair. None of my brothers have curly hair.
Yeah, I love your hair. I honestly when I seen your mom at the last gathering at Jonathan and Sophia's house, or I think it was one of the last times I bumped into you.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he definitely has his mom's hair.
Oh yeah,
what a lucky guy.
You know what's funny is my mom was always, being a hairstylist, she was always against long hair for me.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
I think you've said that before though.
Yeah, she always hated long hair. She's like, but you have such a nice face, Christopher. That's what Christopher, you have such a nice face. You should show up more. I'm like, no, Mom. I want to be like the Hispanic Portuguese Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
But like the mini me version, Hispanic Portuguese Johnny Depp. And so, but my mom was awesome. By the way, my mom. Just want to say she really loved you. She thought you were awesome. She thought you were she's like, this woman has a great heart. It's funny. She said that you remind her of her.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and because she was a single parent with four boys, right? And I know, right? Yeah,
I couldn't do it with one.
Dude, rough, right? And but she's a strong there's, I would say this, not to go off topic, but she aligned with you in regards to the strength and personality, and just like I've gone through life pretty rough. I've lost people, like you talk about, lost people and so forth. But she's gone the years a lot more loving and more, I would say, what is it? Not the word patience, but just the word is just not the word. So what's the word? Not the word patience. It's the word of just accepting people where they are, but also setting boundaries and setting boundaries. Yeah, right. Making sure you're not sacrificing yourself as a person.
Yeah,
when it comes to loving yourself, and that's a hard thing to do.
That's so hard to learn, and that's
it is. And the older you get, the harder it can be. I would say this, and I'm sure my mom would say this, is that there's a lot of love and respect for you and your journey. Not to go into details, but I would say this, that you have our respect and you have our support. I think what you're doing and everything, just with the history we've gone through, it's beautiful. It's amazing, and you've always smiled. That's the thing. Yeah. Always smile. That's not an easy thing to do. That's not easy, and your kid loved you.
Thank you.
So,
yeah.
So sorry to go off a topic on that. I just want to point that out because I
talk about and brag about your mom. I will never be disappointed in somebody doing that. It makes me respect them more.
I am a mama's boy. Trust me, it wasn't easy growing up because I hate her at times. I gave her crap as a kid. But
what kid don't though?
Right, but getting older, I tell her now, thank you.
Yeah.
I say thank you for being tough on me because you want me to make sure I survive.
Yeah. And I love that you recognize, for all her hard work.
Hey everybody, we're back. I am so sorry about that. As much as I want to say there was ghost interference by my mother talking about her to lovely Joy. That's not what happened. Her phone died. I wish we were dramatic about that, but it did happen that way. So sorry to disappoint you, even though this Halloween month. But we're gonna get back on topic here. But before we get back on topic, I definitely want to end this. Is Joy, like I said, my mother loved talking with you. She thought you were amazing. She thought you were funny. Just has such a great heart, and just it's wonderful. And honestly, I'm blessed to know you. You are awesome, and just want to say that right now.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really great meeting your mom, and I'm really happy that I get to put a face to her name now and to see the woman responsible for raising such a great guy, and that somebody I can call a good friend now.
Thank you.
And my hands go up to her.
Yeah, you know what? When she comes back up, because she loves Washington, the best times of Washington, she'll do your hair for free.
Okay.
And by the way, she's done LA fashion models and all that stuff. Her hairstyling company is one of the top 100 in the country.
Okay.
So there you go. And she has a big heart. She has a big heart for people in their hair and all that stuff, except mine. She wants to cut mine off. I swear to God, I had to lock my door when she stayed here, so she cut my lovely hair. Or she thought I'd get drunk enough and that she could just do it when I'm passed out. I'm like, no. That's not going to happen. This is gold. It gold.
Absolutely is. So we believe that our hair holds memories.
Amen.
And it holds on to trauma. And when we first met, my hair was a lot longer because I had been growing it out since I was a child.
Right.
I was placed in a home where the foster mom was very, very abusive. And as a way of control over me, she cut my hair short above my ears. And I had curly hair like my son. You've seen my son's hair.
Yeah. He's got great hair.
Great hair. He has my hair. At least before it was cut, because my curls never came back. I never cut my hair as short as I did. I want to say I was growing it out since 2020, after my cousin Dawn passed away. And then my brother Daniel Swift, he passed away last October. So yeah, I did the undercut, and I did cut my hair really short, which kind of made his mom a little sad because she hadn't seen my hair as long as it was since before I was a little kid.
Right.
And so when she seen my hair short after she lost her youngest son, I was like, Auntie, what do you think? Like, did I go overboard? And she's like, no. She's like, I'm really so sorry. I'm so sorry. You didn't have to do that. I'm so sorry. And it was like, no, like that was my brother. And that was my son's godfather. So it really hit home. But my son, because that trauma had happened to me as a kid in that foster home where my curls never came back and it was cut super short, I made a very strict rule with my son's dad, my boyfriend, and both of our families. And it's like, you don't pick on my son for his hair. You don't cut my son's hair without me giving you the blessing. Yeah. And if he spends the night with you, you take care of his hair. Like, you brush his hair, you make sure that it's deep conditioned. I want his curls to stay as long as possible.
Right.
So I'm able to braid his hair now. It's so long. I can I do his hair almost every day when he lets me.
When he feels like it.
Yes. And I made up the rules, like, okay, when he's 10, maybe then I can let him get his hair cut. Like double digits, that's when I had full say over my hair. But now I'm just like, at 18, when you're a grown ass adult and you're not living in my house no more, then you can decide about your hair. But when his first big cut, that's mine. I'm putting that on a cedar mask, a carving, and that's hanging up in my home for everything. And so he's going to grow up knowing, like, you love your hair, you respect your hair. Yeah. And until he, unless there's a really big reason, if he tells me like, Mom, I really just need to cut my hair, then I'll probably cave. But I'm a firm believer in, it's, it is his body, it is his choice, if I can help it.
Well, you're just being a good mom. And before we go into the story about the islands, I gotta say this about your boyfriend. His hair is pretty damn cool.
I love his hair.
That braid is beautiful. I'm like, I just want to say, when I first met him, I was like, damn, dude.
I know. And when we first started dating, I would ask him, I'll be like, hey, you know, like, do you want me to brush your hair? Do you want me to put it in a braid? No, it's okay. I got it. I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. Well, then we started like getting serious and we were actually like boyfriend and girlfriend. And I'm like, babe, can I please brush your hair? Can I please just love your hair? And can I please braid it? Yeah, sure. Why not? And
Nice.
like, I still to this day, when I comb through his hair, I'm so gentle with it. And I put all the products in. And I actually just got him some good leave-in conditioner today and some more hair ties. And I always braid his hair. Like, he'll ask me, like I'll see him braid his own hair. I'll be like, ouch. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, here. He takes it all out. He's like, here, go ahead. I'm all, don't do that. Like, don't do that. And he's like,
Listen,
why do you like braiding my hair? I'm like, because, babe, your hair is beautiful.
yeah, it's just attractive quality for him, you know,
Mhm.
like for you, and it's like your love language, right?
Yes.
That's what it is. It's part of your love language. It's one of the things like some people like, oh, what's your best aspect? Oh, I love buff arms, or I like good thighs, or I like a strong chest. Or like I love your hair, and it's one of the things where it's like, hey, I want to break because I love it, and it's the best attractive quality about you, one of the best attractive qualities about you.
Yes.
My, you know, in addition to who you are as a person and your personality, and I think that's beautiful. I think it's wonderful, and I think it's
Mhm.
something that should be embraced for sure. Now,
Yeah.
one thing that I will say too is I'm a big fan when it comes to hair is Moroccan oil.
Oh, yep.
That shit smells good.
It very much does. And I actually, because we ran out of that a few months ago, I've been
Mm.
using extra conditioner or leave-in conditioner for him.
Yeah.
And we were at Walmart today, I was like, oh, we need more leave-in conditioner. It totally spaced my mind to get more Moroccan oil. But I do agree.
Yeah.
But his hair too, it's like, it's so curly, it absorbs everything.
Yeah.
And
It
it's so
does.
hard to maintain moisture in his hair. So I go through we did have that, I went through it so fast.
It's funny too because it's funny. This episode is going to be about from ghost stories to hair. But
Yeah.
it's funny because like it's funny when I was tying my hair back, I have it like in a like I'll tie it up in a like this the bun
Hmm.
like this at work and everything, and kind of
Yeah.
not man bun it because I'm not a fan of that man bunning, but just like enough where it's like professional. When I
Uh-huh.
drop it down, it just all of a sudden curls up, and then when I get out of a shower, it just like
Ringlets.
it just totally ringlets. It's that curly side. But anyways, enough about my hair and about Moroccan oil. As much as listen, this if this is the advertisement for Moroccan oil, there you go, Moroccan oil. I expect residuals for sure. I expect
You
residuals.
burned it for sure.
Exactly. But I know we're getting late into the night,
Yes.
and I want to say I love talking to you because not just about your stories,
Hmm.
just because of the kind, awesome, beautiful person that you are.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. You deserve that. Now, I want to get to the islands.
Okay.
I want to get to the some of the spooky stuff about this. Now, I want you to tell the audience, not just me, the audience what you've told me multiple times about this. So please share that story when it comes to
Yes.
the island regarding it.
Okay. So I don't know the name specifically of this little island, but it's just this little island right next to the Hood Canal Bridge, and
Hmm.
it's just shy of right there by Port Ludlow,
Yep.
um,
Know exactly what we're talking about.
but it's still considered like close to like the Bay of. Ooh,
Oh, you went dark on me. There you go.
sorry,
Go
I
back.
hit the back
That's okay.
button.
That's okay.
But it's close. It's close considerably. Like you can see it from Port Gamble, and you can see it from the Port Gamble Reservation on Point Julia. And it's I don't know the name of it. I just call it the Little Indian Island.
Okay.
Because it's really small, and the story has stuck with me throughout the years about the little Indian boys, and so that's why I call it the Little Indian Island. And the first time I heard the story, my mom, she was trying to tell me about, like, because when I started like believing in, supernatural and like ghosts, like shapeshifters, um,
Mm.
like the little people, stick Indians, stuff like that. My mom, um, my mom was like, well, Joy, like slalloms, and way back in the day, like we were considered the most feared tribes because we have magic in our blood. And I was like, huh, okay.
Not the Twilight version of werewolves, is it?
No, 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 no. Just more of like
Sorry,
strong
sorry.
medicine.
Sorry.
No, like it's all good. That's a good one.
Not the cool scene ones, right? You know, in Twilight, you know.
Yeah, no, not the Quileutes.
Not the coolies. Okay, sorry, coolies. Hey, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
what's the coolest scene, Res? Quileute, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just like we had strong medicine. Like we were able to, like really have good protection over ourselves and to like our medicine men and women, like they had strong magic, they had strong medicine, and they could like bless people or curse people basically. And my mom, I was like, okay, cool. Like,
So everybody out there, do not mess with Joy.
Yes.
That's all to say. No, just go ahead.
Don't mess with the squallums. No.
Don't mess with swallows, man. No, absolutely.
But my mom had told me, she was like, yeah, like you never knew about the island story. And I was like, what, like Bainbridge Island? No, that little island right over there, right by the Hood Canal Bridge.
Well, by the way, we could talk about Bainbridge Island all day because that's what I work on. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. Oh,
you're good. And I was like, no, I've never heard about that before. She's like, well, back when, before there was just only 3 bands of the Slalloms, we had so many more. And we would, so a ceremony after so many years, like we would get together, have all these canoes of all the tribes coming forth, and they'd park their boat on, or their, okay, now I gotta go jump in the water. They would park their canoes on the shore. Okay. Yeah, you don't ever call canoes the B word. I know this. Otherwise, you gotta go dive into the. I gotta go jump in the water. Cool.
That's my fault. Blame me. I'll jump in the water for you. Okay.
We could go together.
Hey, there you go.
I'm just used because it's like all of the fishermen, they have their boats and they're always down at the beach lately because of the openers. So like in my mind, it made sense.
In Boy Scouts, we call it polar bearing, where it's like cold at night. You just jump in the water. It's painful as hell. It feels like a bunch of freaking needles.
Yeah, no, I don't like doing it at all, but now I have to. But
I'm in with you.
Okay,
we're in it together.
Okay. But so all the tribes, they would gather to Point Julia and come from all over, wherever their tribes were from, and they would pull in their canoes, come ashore, and there would be one boy. I think it was like 13 or something years old, or 12 years old. It was a certain age the boys had to be, and it would be one boy from each tribe, and the boys would go over to the island with their family, and they'd go pull in the canoes over to the little island. Dad's at his friend's house, babe. He's with his cousins. And the parents would give the boys over to the medicine men and the medicine women, and they would put them in these tiny little, their own individual huts, and they would put like this smoke, or my mom called it this dust. The medicine men and women, they would put this dust over these boys and make them fall asleep.
Okay.
And it would just be the medicine men and women and the boys in the hut, and the parents had to stay outside. And they would go down the line of, putting these boys to sleep, and the parents, they would eventually, when all the boys were asleep, the medicine men and women would, stay on the island with them, keep an eye on them, and they would leave for 3 days and 3 nights, and the boys would stay asleep because they'd keep putting that dust over them every night and every day, making sure they stayed asleep. And the parents would be back at Point Julia, and they'd have their, offerings. They would, like woven baskets, drums, berries, salmon, smoked salmon, anything and everything, rattles, like from instruments to clothing to like weapons, like they would have everything, and they would just put them in these fires and burn them as offerings.
Okay.
And for 3 days and 3 nights, nobody could sleep. Everyone was fasting, and everyone was drumming and singing for all 3 days and all 3 nights. And when it came to the right time, the everyone would get into their canoes and they would pull over to the island, and the parents would step out of the canoes first and get to shore, and one by one the shaman or the medicine men and women would, like, they'd ask, like, the first parents, like, what do you want for your son, like, what do you want your son to be? And the parent, like, it could never be the same gift given twice in that ceremony. So the first parents would be, I want my son to have the most sons. I want our bloodline and our name to live on through our sons. So I want him to be blessed with all the sons and to be fertile. And so, like, they would sing over him, and they would put some more dust over him and to keep him asleep. And they'd go down the line. The next person, okay, well, great choice, by the way, man. I would like my son to be the best hunter. I want him to be able to provide for our whole village. I want it to be where he can easily feed us and our people. Okay. And they do the same thing, put some more dust. They'd sing for him, pray over him, and they'd move on to the next. And it was never the same thing. So the boys were given different gifts and abilities. And depending on what the parents asked, and by the time all the boys would be gone through the line and they'd be given, their parents would wish their wishes for their sons, the medicine men and women would wake the boys up and would release the boys out onto the island. And the parents and all of the people, all of the tribes people, men and women, would have to get out of their canoes and run up on the beach and go into the woods and try to go capture these boys. And you'd had until a certain time, I think it's until the sun went down, to like capture these boys to save their souls. And so like if you captured the boys, you could, they would be granted their ability that the parents asked for them. So if the parents said, oh, I want my son to be the best fisherman in the village, like if that little boy got captured, he'd have the ability to know how to fish, to how to harvest and to, like, make nets, to be the best fisherman. But if you didn't catch those little boys, they would be basically, their souls would be damned to the island. Their bodies and their souls would be stuck only to that island. They could never return home, never rest in peace, never cross over to the other side. And that was something that the parents knew going into the ceremony. And so it was a real heavy thing for our people that they didn't catch, if you didn't catch one of these boys, because like, you're mourning somebody's son, you're mourning your brother, you're mourning the loss of your friend. And that's not something a lot of people can really accept, even still to this day. Death is scary, but no, like, there's still sightings, and like I know a lot of tribal members that go over to that island, like, or just like have waterfront property that look over on the island, and they never go over there.
Really?
Yeah, my uncle Daryl Sullivan, he took me a couple of times, and it did feel like really eerie, but he was like, don't go in the woods, don't run off the beach, do not go into those woods. I'm like, why? He's like, you just don't do it. That's just an unspoken rule. And when my mom had told me that story, she's like, Joy, it's because those little boys, like, those spirits are still there, and like they're lost souls, they're evil in a way. Like, you don't want that clinging on to you. We don't want to lose you to those woods. Like, and there's people who adventure out there quite a bit, and like could say that they hear like little Indian boys running around. They could hear little boys running around and chasing them, or chasing each other, and like kayakers, people who don't know any better, and they're just like, yeah, I'm going home now.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
So do the boys know that they have to be captured to be granted the things that the parents wish for? And if so why would they keep running? So this is me being the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Is why would you keep running knowing the consequence if you're not captured or by
So
obtained by your family? Go
I
ahead.
think at the point where when they finally wake up, like their spirits, their bodies are taken over by something that forces of that island and the medicine that the medicine men and women would put over them.
So
Like it was that
basically
entity.
it wasn't their choice. It was more like this is what you need to do. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be captured so I can get the blessings my parents asked for. It's more like
Yeah.
we're okay, gotcha. Okay, sorry about that. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure
No,
that
no,
because
it's okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no. So like everybody, and that's where it was too. It was like I don't think it was a ceremony that happened every year or every season, or it was something to where it was like there had to be one boy from each community, each tribe that and they all agreed like, hey, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Like if I can risk my life and my soul and to benefit our family and to be the best version of me that I can't be by my own doing, then yeah, like I will make that sacrifice. I will do that for our people. I will do that for my family.
And when they're under that the dusting and everything like that, it's like I know I'm not going to control. Something else is going to take over. Some type of whatever it
Some
is.
kind of entity, yes.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
whatever like forces that come from that medicine, like that comes from that ceremony, that comes from that island.
Gotcha.
Like they know that they can't just stay, like walk into the bushes like right on the tree line of the island and be like, oops, who's gonna find me here? Like no, they're gonna keep running. Something's gonna make them hide and make it to where it was almost impossible to be captured. And that's why it took all of the villagers of all of the tribes to get onto the island and to try to capture these boys.
So my question is this: the ones who were not captured that are trapped on this island, like you talk about, right? What is the potential danger for people who go on that island? Like either like going out just a canoe, camp, whatever. What's the concern for their lives?
I don't believe that there has been any suspicious deaths. Otherwise, people would know. Like people in the community be like, "Don't go over there. Especially don't go over there at night. Don't go like through those woods. Like you could die. Like it's not like that evil and that haunted, but it's like you can hear like the torment. You can hear like the chasing. You can hear the voices, and it's like I think what it is, it's just more of like they're making themselves known, or like something could happen to where it's like, yeah, maybe you get scared and you trip and fall, but it's like my mom never told me specifically like just do not go to that island, like because sometimes you go there and like we could harvest clams, you just stay on the beach. But I've never ever in my life have heard anybody tell me the story of they were brave enough to walk into those woods and not hear some creepy shit, like some spiritual shit. Like you feel that energy, you feel that essence, like the farther into the island that you go. And even though like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm a total chicken shit when it comes to the dark. I'm a total coward when it comes to ghosts, like because I know how real it is. But I do really want to figure out and talk to my Uncle Gene, who lives just right down the road from me here in Suquamish. Just say like, hey, like, are we allowed to do this? Because I would like to go there with some sort of like you and Jonathan, and like have all of Jonathan's like special little gadgets and doodads and
which he's still encouraging to do. And I'm like, dude, he told me, he's like, 10 will take us to the island. We'll do this. I'm like, fuck you.
I would love to go with you guys. And
absolutely.
I'm not one to want to be outside at night. I'm not one to want to go chase ghosts. I'm not one that's like, and just know I will most likely be clinging to you guys like white on fucking rice, because I'm just
don't pull my hair, please.
no. I never bullshit with somebody's hair ever. No, that's disrespectful as fuck.
But
But
no,
I want
but
to do it
yeah,
so bad because it's like I want to know if those boys' voices or anything can be picked up on your guys' devices, because if so, like that would just be so monumental to capture.
no.
I would prefer we go in the daylight though. I don't know.
No,
Like,
no, absolutely. You know what's funny? Because John and I have been talking about our next destination for next year,
mm-hmm.
and we have a few destinations. And this is one of the things we talked about was going onto that island,
Yeah.
is because John's mentioned it multiple times, not just you, but he's mentioned multiple times. And I told him I'm totally down for doing that. I just want to make sure I have the right gear to do it. And if you want to go, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure, because I think it's something to investigate. I think it's something to embrace. I think
Mhm.
I always say this: the native culture, the indigenous culture, and the native culture has such profound knowledge when it comes to not just the reality that we have here,
Yeah.
but the spirituality
Yeah.
and just the wisdom that it brings to the table and the respect it has for it too. That's one of the things I love about the native culture. That's something
Thank you.
no, and I mean this. I was like this as a kid. I always loved how natives embrace things and so forth because there's so much wisdom behind it. It's not about like one things that I would say about the natives here in America. There's humility behind it.
Mm.
There's a lot of humility behind it. They don't bullshit.
Yeah.
They'll protect their own, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of humility behind knowing what's out there and what they're dealing with. And
Yeah.
but and so it's something worth definitely investigating for sure.
Yeah.
And with these native boys, like the native kids, do you think they're trapped because of a vortex? Do you think it's because of just a ceremony? What's your thoughts behind that?
I think it's because they knew that they were bargaining, like they were putting their souls in the hands of and trusting it into others and making sure they were able to return home safe. They were saying, like, hey, and if that doesn't happen, the deal is this ceremony, like this medicine, will take that from you. Like, if you're going to gamble your soul, like the chances of you losing it are about 50-50, and
Right.
that's fair odds. It can
But
go either which way.
but these kids are doing it for the family.
They're doing it for the family and for their bloodlines. They're doing it for their community, their people, because I don't think that they just walk into it being like, oh, mom, yeah, just mom, dad, pick whatever you want me to be. Like, no, like they're like, how, like, I will be that person that will go in and ask for the abilities that we need now for our tribe, for our village, so that way we can thrive, and so it's like, if they're not able to catch fish, and they're not able to figure out why, like, you know what, ask for me to be the best fisherman. Like, I want to be the best fisherman.
So
And
it's a noble sacrifice depending on
yes.
the tribe and the situation. It sounds like it's like a risk and reward.
Yes.
Okay.
And like sometimes, like it would be more humble requests, like, oh, I want my son to be like the best artist and make the best, regalia. So then because if they're successful in other ways, like, why get greedy? Just say, like, I want him to like have that art and like have that be a strong feature for him, is like the love for art, and to make like regalia, because regalia for us traditionally, it's protection on the dance floor, it's protection in war, it's something that blesses us for ceremonies
Right.
and any special events, and that's medicine we're carrying. You have to make it with love. You have to know it's been made with love, and
The right intent, pretty much.
yes. And
Gotcha.
so it's like to give that medicine back to the people, or be like, I want my son to be a strong medicine man,
Right.
like be able to heal people, to look out for people, to love other people, and to like know how to, not just heal their bodies, but to like heal their spirits, because that's another thing that indigenous people believe in, is that, like when our spirits are vulnerable, like as of right now, like my Auntie Bonnie and my grandpa that have passed away, they, you know, like death lingers. There's the death doors are open, and you know, so it's scary to know like it can happen to just anybody. Like we traditionally believe like death lingers, and so like don't be. Go ahead, you can eat your strawberries. So don't be like in the graveyard after 3 p.m. because then things start getting dark, you know? Like you don't want to, especially like with me being with child, like I can't go like when I was cleaning out my Auntie Bonnie's house, like I knew walking into that responsibility of clearing out her home after she passed, like I cannot, you know, just go in there without my belly wrapped. That my baby needs that protection. I need to protect my baby. And I think that's something that it's like those boys on the island, like they knew like this is the circumstances. Like you are at risk of bad medicine, of this, that, whatever. So this is what you have to do, you know? So it's like, yeah, they knew they were going to get that dust put over them. They knew they were going to be asleep. They knew that they were going to probably not get caught, you know, and they were willing to take that risk, you know? And it's always like, it's not just the humility, it's the open honesty too about our teachings. Is like, this is serious. Like this is our ways. And you just need to understand that you don't have to, you know, fully believe it, but just acknowledge that this is our truth. This is the way that we do things. And if you can't accept, if you don't like, if you don't respect that, then you have no place to learn these teachings.
Right. Right.
And so, because you can't have good without bad, you know, like those little boys, they couldn't have those blessings and those gifts and those abilities granted to them if, you know, sadly there wasn't a big downside to, you know, such a like a good thing. And that's what's really sad.
Yeah. Wow. So listen, you said a lot tonight, Joy. And one of the things I want to say, because I want to give you the last word before I do my typical announcement how to subscribe to Bound in Truth.
Okay.
Is that as a kid, and I mean this, I've always had a fascination with the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't call them Indians. You know, that's what Columbus called them because they thought they reached India, right? But the culture, the respect, the beautiful lore, and the things that the Native Americans, indigenous, have brought to the table has so much wisdom and impact on our humanity. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot more to it when it comes to, like we talked about before I hit the recording with Bigfoot, when it comes to skinwalkers, which I'm sure we can go to a whole nother story next time, which I love to bring you on about that. And all that jazz. But I will say this, I've always had a love for the indigenous people. I've always had a love for the culture. I'm telling you, I love the culture. I think it's the most beautiful thing because there's so much warmth and heart and love.
Yeah.
You know, with that. Not sure about the Comanche. That's a whole different conversation. But no, no, I'm joking. Wise, it's me being stupid. That's
I think you might be also thinking too of the Crow.
Yeah. But I want to say this. I love it, and honestly, meeting John last year and meeting his family and meeting you has bring so much beauty and joy into my heart to get to know the culture and to get to know the people and this the relationships, how big of a family you guys are. Regardless of good or bad, you guys all stick together. And I love that. And I think it's so beautiful. So before we end the podcast, the one thing I want to ask you is, you know, even though this is about a Halloween story, I'm going to change it a little bit, just to tweak it a little bit. Is what do you want people to know out there regarding the indigenous people, regarding the Native Americans, that's important for them to understand and know? Yes, there's a holiday for the indigenous, but what's something that you think is important that people should know that maybe you think might be missing regards to the people?
Well, I think what's something that's very much missing is that we are all considered the same, you know, like, and that's very far from the truth. Coast Salish natives, we lived in longhouses. We had like home-like structures, you know, and then the Plains Indians, like they had to move with, you know, like the buffalo and with the venison, and they had to move with their meals basically. And so like they had homes that they could transport. Like in teepees. And there was like woodland Indians who like use their surroundings to adapt into, and they have we all have our own teachings, we all have our own language. Like Suquamish and Fort Campbell Squalum, we're neighbors. It's a 15-minute drive from one reservation to the other, and our languages are so different. And it's a beautiful thing, because it's like every indigenous person that I've met from other tribes, like we all have different stories. Like we have Basket Lady, and that's different variations of her throughout indigenous lore and teachings. And like, but out here we don't have what the Makah have. Like the Makah has something called the Pook, which is fishermen that have died at sea and they miss home, so they linger on the beaches at night. And when you look at them, they look like the water is dripping from their hair just turned to seaweed. Their face is all wrinkly and droopy, and like they holler, like they're hollering for help, like help me, like because they screaming help as they drowned. And like there's just so many different stories and languages, and the regalia is so different, and it's all just so beautiful. And so it's like anywhere that you go and you meet a new indigenous person, it's listen, like, because like there's some tribes, like the Crow, like they sold many tribes out to Custard and got a lot of individual native tribes and people killed, and there's other people that indigenous tribes that like lifelong allies that like since colonization, like they really were like, no, the whiteface, like that's the real enemy, and it changes. Like all of the history of indigenous people changed different areas that you go. And so it's like, like I know my stories are a lot different from any of the stories that my son's father, my boyfriend, has and his family have. And like they all have different teachings. And it's a very beautiful thing. And it's not something to, even if you want to take it lightly, like, it's not something you want to just, be disrespectful and brush off, and just downplay. Because at the end of the day, like it is like, like it's our beliefs. And it's, some people, they believe in Christianity. Some people, they believe in, being Catholics, and like, don't shame people for being outspoken about our beliefs, like I just believe in just, being kind and, finding your loved ones, finding your people and your friends and who you can rely on throughout life, no matter what race or religion, and embrace them in your life, and I know more people that are polar opposites of me that I could call up right now. Like, let's say we weren't on the podcast. Like if I called you up right now and I'm just like, shit, dude, like Ty's out with his cousins right now. Like me and Carver, we're broke down the side of the road. Can you please come help? I wholeheartedly believe you or Jonathan would, you guys would come and help.
100%, 100%
And we have totally different backgrounds. And so it's just the patience of knowing that, everybody's different. Everybody is beautiful, and we all have our own things that make us beautiful, and our teachings are beautiful. So, and it's not just our history as people, like our own beings, it's the history of our, ancestors. And, like you apologize for being a Spaniard and all this is like, don't worry about it. Like, times like there's not anything part of history, where there's not some form of like slavery or colonization.
Right.
But, like you don't need to apologize for, the wrongdoings of your ancestors. Like, I don't need to apologize for anything, the wrongdoings of my ancestors. Like, if anything, like we take accountability for what you and we ourselves have done wrong.
Right.
And just know, like, I could go days and days and days and days and days talking with you about all sorts of things because I love your company. I really appreciate you having me tonight. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties.
Oh no, there was nothing to apologize about.
Okay.
Joy. I will say this is that what I love about one thing that I've in my own personal experience with Native culture here in America is that, again, the first word comes to me is wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Also acceptance.
Yeah.
I would say also to open opportunity
Yeah.
in regards to people coming from one place to another. Yeah, there's tribes out there who wouldn't be scared of other people. You know, you think about your
Yeah.
family, you think about your kids, your wife, and everything. Who wouldn't be scared about that? But one thing about the natives that I love is that because they're so wise, they're always open. And that's a whole nother conversation when it comes to like, you know, ancient aliens and star people and all that jazz. Your kid agrees.
He's trying to strangle the cat.
But what I was saying is that I feel that the natives, you know, have always been open to wisdom on any aspect, even from a different culture. And unfortunately, there's cultures out there who took advantage of that naiveness,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and that's sad.
That is.
But I always have a love for the native culture. Joy, thank you for definitely sharing that information in regards to your thoughts and feelings about the indigenous people and how it's important to really understand the culture,
Yeah.
kindness, and the love.
Yeah.
And I got to say that I've been very honored by having you on this podcast and just the experience to hear your stories, not just about the ghost stories, you know, and I said this Halloween special, but just to hear about the culture itself when it comes to the beliefs and the heart of the people.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I think that should be acknowledged. And honestly, it's funny when I thought about this podcast, and I was thinking about this during our conversation, how it's kind of in a fitting way, and I didn't plan this, that we're coming to an indigenous holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's beautiful. So
I think so too.
yeah. So before you get off this podcast here, I'm having keep online so we can just kind of debrief really quick.
Mhm.
People out there, I want to say thank you for listening to Joy Jones here on this podcast. How can you reach us? Like I said before, well, Spotify, Amazon, which is Audible, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, again, the platforms. And other platforms as well that you like, Buzzsprouts as well as you like to listen to us. And how can you reach us to have any questions for Joy and more to in the native and indigenous when it comes to the culture and so forth? Because I think it's worth asking those questions and other stuff as well. That's going to be boundfood34gmail.com. So feel free to email me about if you want to connect with Joy, and I'll definitely make sure you guys get connected with her permission. Also, in that email, any insults, comments, compliments, or you want to lock up my hair, or you want to set me up for a date because I live in a house and with 4 cats, a guinea pig, and 6 chickens. Yes, I do have chickens. So, anyways, I want to say everybody have a great night. God bless, and again, see you on the other side. Good night.
Good night. Thank you for having me.